Before we dive into today's story, let me ask you something. Have you ever watched a movie that did more than just entertain, that felt almost woven into the fabric of your own life? Maybe it's that one film you reach for when you need comfort, the one you can quote from memory, whose characters have become like old friends. Scenes from it echo in your mind in unexpected moments, and no matter how many times you see it, it still hits you in the gut and the heart. Films like that are rare. They're the kind that don't just occupy a slot in your movie collection, but actually linger, quietly influencing how you see the world, how you understand love, bravery, even loss. For countless people, that movie is The Princess Bride. This week, Cary Elwes, the actor forever etched in pop culture as Wesley, the dashing, quick-witted hero who taught us about true love, loyalty, and the courage to fight for both, shared something online that made people stop and take notice. Social media is often a noisy stream of opinions, arguments, and fleeting trends, but Cary's post cut through all that. His words were raw and sincere, the kind you can only write after years of genuine connection, laughter, and shared history with someone. They came from a place of deep affection and even deeper pain. Cary's tribute was for Rob Reiner, the legendary director who not only brought The Princess Bride to life, but also created a string of other beloved classics. He shared his thoughts on what would have been Rob's 79th birthday, a day that instead of being filled with celebration, was marked by profound absence. Cary's words, both in this short, poignant post and in a longer, heartfelt tribute he wrote months before, remind us of the enduring power of love and the bonds we form. Even in the face of a loss so shocking, it leaves you breathless. Let's start with the birthday post. On Friday, March 6th, Cary posted a photo to Instagram. It's a simple shot. Two men, shoulder to shoulder, at the 25th anniversary screening of The Princess Bride during the New York Film Festival in 2012. But the image is heavy with meaning. Behind those smiles are decades of shared memories, a film that changed the course of both of their lives, and a friendship that became a foundation for each of them. Beneath the photo, Cary wrote, "Today would have been your 79th birthday. Still hard to believe you're gone. Missing you so much." He finished with two emojis, a sword and a broken heart. It's amazing how sometimes the smallest gestures, a couple of emojis, can carry more weight than 1,000 words. For anyone who has loved The Princess Bride, the symbolism is immediate. The sword speaks to Wesley's swashbuckling adventures, the battles fought both on-screen and off, not just in fairy tale lands, but in the trenches of creative collaboration. The broken heart is universal, a symbol of grief too deep for words, the ache of losing someone whose presence shaped your life. With a single photo and two small symbols, Cary managed to encapsulate decades of friendship, the devastation of loss, and that rare bond that endures, unbroken, even after death. It's a reminder that some connections are so profound, so built into who we are, that they refuse to fade. To really grasp the depth of this loss, you have to understand the context. Last December, an unthinkable tragedy struck. Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were found dead in their Brentwood home. Their son Nick was later arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. He's pleaded not guilty, and the legal process continues to unfold. It's a situation so shocking, so beyond comprehension that it left friends, family, and fans reeling, struggling to process not just the loss but the circumstances. The shockwaves from that day haven't faded. Even months later, those who loved Rob and Michelle are still trying to find solid ground, still searching for meaning in the wake of such a senseless act. Cary Elwes is among those most deeply affected. Back in December, only days after the news broke, he shared an even more personal tribute. A longer post, written on December 29th. In it, you can feel the depth of his grief and the scope of his friendship with Rob. Nearly 40 years of working together, supporting each other, and sharing a rare kind of affection that's hard to find anywhere, let alone in Hollywood, where relationships so often run shallow. I was 24 when I first met Rob Reiner on The Princess Bride, and from that very first meeting I fell in love with him. I was already a fan of his work, so meeting him in person was a dream come true. Picture that moment. You're young, just starting out, and suddenly you're standing face to face with someone whose films have inspired you for years. Then he offers you not just a part, but the part, one that will become the cornerstone of your career, a role that generations will cherish. Cary describes it as Rob handing him the keys to the castle, an act of trust and belief that's vanishingly rare in an industry where competition and suspicion often reign. When someone sees your potential, believes in you, and gives you the freedom to shine, it doesn't just change your career, it changes your life. Cary reminisced about those first days on set. Rob was a director who led from the heart. He felt things deeply and wasn't afraid to show it. He was driven not by ego or money, but by a love of storytelling, by empathy for others. In an industry often obsessed with power and status, Rob was different. He created spaces where people could be themselves, where collaboration meant lifting each other up, not tearing each other down. He made everyone, from stars to crew, feel valued. That kind of leadership leaves a mark. It creates a legacy that's measured not just in box office numbers, but in the lives and hearts he touched. The Princess Bride isn't just beloved because of its witty script or its unforgettable performances. It's loved because it was made by people who cared deeply for each other, led by a director who believed in the magic of true connection. That spirit infuses every frame of the film. It's why it endures, why it matters, why so many of us carry its lessons around with us like talismans. As Cary's words remind us, loss never really gets easier. Even months later, it can come crashing back in waves, at anniversaries, on birthdays, in quiet moments when you least expect it. But love is persistent. The bonds we forge, the trust we build, the laughter and tears we share, those things outlast even the sharpest grief. They shape us, just as The Princess Bride has shaped millions, and just as Rob Reiner shaped the lives of those lucky enough to know him. So when Cary Elwes posted that photo, with its sword and its broken heart, he wasn't just mourning the loss of a friend and mentor. He was paying tribute to a bond that can't be broken, to the kind of love and connection that lives on, in the stories we tell, the memories we share, and the movies that become a part of who we are.